Hi students, we're in Starfield Library today. This is lecture 4, and before we begin, as always students, if you don't have the lecture notes, please press pause and print week 4, and once you have it students, please, again I know it's backwards, make a little note at the top of your paper that it's week 4, and also just, it's my style, please highlight all the terms, would you? Okay, let's get started. The first word is a verb. It's implore. Can you please say that with me? Implore. Implore. Students, it means to beg. To beg someone to do something. Or not do something. I think on your handout I have to beg someone desperately not to do something. For example, he implored her to change her mind. He begged her to change her mind. In Korean, I hope you guys can hear me okay. Awan hara. Awan hara. Take a look at those guys. Here's a man, maybe he's begging for something. Students, again, implore just means beg someone to do something. So, I implore you, please do not wait until the last minute to start preparing for your midterm exams. This next one, it's a verb, together. Unravel. Unravel. It means to find the correct explanation for something that is difficult to understand. Pay close attention to the second definition. Investigate, or solve, or explain something complicated or puzzling. Students, I don't know if you remember, but a couple of years ago there was commercial airplanes that crashed. They were made by Boeing. I think they're called Air Max. And anyway, investigators are attempting to unravel the mystery of what happened to those two planes. I think one was Indonesian and the other one Ethiopian. Have you guys heard about this? Boeing Air Max. They're not exactly sure what caused the crash. Hundreds of people died, and investigators are trying to get to the bottom of it. By the way, look at the synonyms for unravel. Get to the bottom of. It just means find out what happened. Explain. In Korean it's pulda. Pulda. Or 해명하라. Students, by now you may realize that I like Sherlock Holmes. Here we have Sherlock and Watson. And the central theme of every Sherlock episode is trying to get to the bottom of the mystery. They're trying to unravel the mystery. What happened? Let's look at the next word. It's a noun. Please repeat after me. Respite. Respite. Respite means temporary relief, usually something uncomfortable. A delay or suspension. Again, students, look at the second definition. a short period of rest from having to deal with a difficult or unpleasant situation. For example, and this is on your paper, in most places, summer vacation brings a much needed respite to teachers and students alike. So, summer vacation brings a respite for students. It just means a rest. A rest from study. Respite, temporary relief from something difficult, uncomfortable. In the example I use, summer vacation brings a respite from academic pressure. In Korean, 일시적 정지. 일시적 정지. I'm not sure if my pronunciation is okay. Take a look at this picture. So, it's just some kids climbing a tree. Maybe it's summer vacation and a respite from their studies. Next, it's an adjective, invulnerable. Please repeat after me. Invulnerable. Not able to be wounded or hurt. Shielded against attack. There's a good synonym there. You might want to put a star by it. Impregnable means the defenses cannot be penetrated. Look at the examples. Many teenagers behave as if they were invulnerable. For example, teenagers sometimes might drink and drive, drink alcohol and get in a car. They seem to think that they are invincible. They cannot get hurt. Nothing bad will happen to them. They behave as if they are invulnerable. Look at the second example. A strong navy made Great Britain invulnerable. Students, in that second example, we're referring to the second definition, that is, shielded from attack. A strong navy made Great Britain invulnerable, meaning their navy protected them from attack. In Korean, Haechil Su Apnan. I wish you were here to help me with my pronunciation. Haechil Su Apnan. I think you know this word. Good. Moving right along. This next one is an adjective. You probably know this one. Please repeat after me. Dormant. Dormant. Make sure you pronounce the N and the T at the end of the word. Dormant. Dormant. You don't have to know this, but the noun is dormancy. Dormancy just means inactive, in a state of suspension or sleeping. In Korean, Yumyeongiwi, or alternatively, Hwaldong Jongdanhan. It's very difficult for me. Students, can you think of an example, something that is dormant, something that was dormant? A lot of my students mention bears being hibernating, which I guess is a state of dormancy. Let's see here. Do you guys know the volcano in Italy. The volcano name is Vesuvius, and it's located in the ancient town of Pompeii. Countless books and movies have been made depicting the events of Pompeii. This is a Hollywood movie that came out several years ago. Have you ever been to Pompeii? Some of my students have. I must confess I've never been to Italy, but Pompeii now is a vast archaeological park, and you can visit it. Some of you may have. This is what remains of Pompeii today. And students, this is Vesuvius and Pompeii, more modern picture. You can see the volcano in the background, which has once again returned to dormancy. I presume it's dormant. And you can see the city at the slope of the volcano. And here's the ancient city of Pompeii. Students, just so you know, it doesn't have to be a volcano. Could be nature. It could be a tree. Right now it's springtime and many plants, trees are coming out of a state of dormancy. Most trees are dormant in the wintertime. Anyway, one more time. Dormant. Dormant. Good. All right. I like this next word. It's a verb. Please repeat after me. Acclimate. 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 Good. Let's make it past tense. Acclimated. Acclimated. Now let's add ing. Acclimating. Acclimating. And now the original, acclimate, present tense. Students, acclimate just means, in my own mind, to get used to something. To get used to become familiar with. It could be anything. On your handout, students, I have to adapt to a new climate, environment, or situation. Look at the second definition. Become accustomed to. Students, that just means become familiar with. Become accustomed to, or get used to, a new climate or new conditions. It could be anything. I think I told you many years ago I went to Indo and the culture was alien to me. It took me about 2 weeks to acclimate to the chaos or chaos of street life in India. There's a lot of poverty, there's pollution. It's an amazing country, but as a foreigner, it took some time to acclimate. Never mind India. When I first came to Korea, I had to acclimate to a new diet. It's very dangerous. I like sundubu jjigae, but it hurts my stomach. It took time to acclimate to spicy food. Students, when I lived in America, my mom, she would cook rice maybe once or twice a year. And then when I moved to Korea, I began to eat rice every single day. I like rice. I have since acclimated, but at the time, it came as a shock to me, and it took time to acclimate to a new diet. Furthermore, students, I'm from Florida, which is very hot and sunny, and should I move to the state of Alaska or Russia, it would take time for me to acclimate to a colder environment, the freezing winters. Can you think of anything that you must acclimate to? Oh, I know you probably don't want to think about it, but many young men, it takes some time to acclimate to army life in the military. It takes, 5 or 6 weeks, and then your body, your mind begins to acclimate to the military routine. Can you think of anything else that we must acclimate to? Could be a professor's teaching style. Different teachers have different methodologies, and maybe you're familiar with one style of teaching, like PowerPoint, and then another professor doesn't use that, so it might take some time to acclimate to professor's teaching style. Anyway, students, it could be anything. Acclimate just means to get used to something. It could be the temperature, it could be culture, teachers, teaching style, food, almost anything. It's a good word. It's a word that I use frequently. Acclimate in Korean, this is very difficult for me, students. 순응 시키다, 적응 시키다. How's my pronunciation? Tell me the truth. Terrible? Well, it's on your paper, students, so please print it and study the whole thing. All right, a few more. This next one, it's a verb. Ru. 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 Ru, just remember, the first letter of Ru is R, and the meaning of Ru is regret. So, to regret, be sorry for something. In Korean, huha, huhahara. Huhahara. Huhahara? It's a funny word. Huhahara means to regret or be sorry for something. So students, no one lives a perfect life, and it's not unusual to rue missed opportunities. So when I was in college, maybe I had a chance to study abroad for a semester, but for whatever reason I was just busy writing term papers and I didn't study in Germany. I rue not making more efforts to study abroad. The next word is super easy. It's a noun. Please repeat after me. Fortnight. Fortnight. Students, I believe this word is British in origin. Very simply, it means 14 nights, or 2 weeks. Fortnight. 14 nights. Again, very simply, 2 weeks. Let's see here. For example, My aunt and uncle stayed with us for a fortnight. What does that mean? My relatives stayed with us for a fortnight. My relatives stayed at my house for 2 weeks. That's it. Pretty easy. And a good word. A good example on your handout, students. Our midterm is in a fortnight, just as an example. Again, students, what does that mean? Our midterm is in a fortnight. Our midterm is in 2 weeks. That's it. A few more. Another good one. Let's see, where am I? This next one is a verb. Replicate. 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 It means to make an exact copy of. Look at the second definition on your handout. To make or do something exactly in the same way. Look at the example. Researchers tried many times to replicate the original experiment. In other words, scientists tried to duplicate or reproduce the experiment the same way. Sometimes a team of scientists are working on, say, a vaccine in one country, say, or continent Europe, and they're successful. Another team of scientists in the United States or South Korea, they will be tasked with replicating their success. They must get the same results as the other team. Students, take a look at this. Do you know this? Chromosome? So, students, chromosomes replicate before cells divide and multiply. Whenever our cells divide the DNA, it divides and replicates to make new cells in our body. So chromosomes replicate before cells divide and multiply. In Korean, replicate bukje hara. Oh, I'm sorry. Bokje hara. Bokje hara. What does replicate mean? Duplicate. Recreate. Perform again in exactly the same way. Make an exact copy of, or simply reproduce. All right, guys, making good progress. This last one is a verb. Unearthed. 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 One more time. Unearthed. To find something, it could be anything, that was buried in the earth. It could also mean to find or discover something, again, anything, that was hidden or lost. Take a look, guys. In 1922, archaeologists discovered King Tut's tomb, his coffin. His sarcophagus was unearthed. It was literally pulled from out of the ground. Many years ago, the Sphinx in Cairo, actually Giza, it was buried up to its neck. But slowly, it was unearthed. And here's a present-day picture of the Sphinx, completely unearthed. I'm a little embarrassed to show you this, but I have a photograph, and this is your professor in Egypt. Students, unearthed in Korean, paneda, I think that means digging, and balgol hada, excavate. Students, I just want you to know, unearthed doesn't have to be something in the dirt. For example, it could be something in your closet. I unearthed some old letters or photographs from my closet. 이해했어요? So again, doesn't have to be in the ground. Usually it is, but depends on the context. So I unearthed my high school pencil case as I was cleaning my room. Just means to find something that was buried, maybe buried under some dirty clothes or something like that. Students, how are we doing on time? Okay. There is one last crazy word. This is not on the midterm, I promise. Just for fun. Look how many letters that is. Can you say that with me? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Are you having trouble? I'll say it again. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Students, this is a made-up word. It's from an old Disney movie. Mary Poppins. It just means wonderful. Again, just for fun, not on the test. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Students, I do want to take a moment to review. We're starting to cover a lot of words, and I just want to take a moment or two to review some words from previous lectures. Students, what is the vocabulary word for something that is out of date? No longer being used, no longer produced. Like, do you remember this? Floppy disk? Obsolete. What about this? A valuable object that is passed down from one generation to another. What is that called? I don't know. Heirloom. Heirloom. Remember, the letter H is silent. Heirloom. So easy. Yes. Alien. Just means foreign or strange. By the way, a little embarrassing. Do you know what this is? This is Scott's alien ID card. Yes, I am foreign. What else? Oh yes, I like this word. Do you remember? Being able to use both hands equally well? Ambidextrous. Ambidextrous. What about something that is numberless? Too many to count. Like the stars or leaves on a tree. Innumerable. Innumerable. Poisonous. Venomous. Okay, how about this one? To, I think this is from lecture 3. To obtain. To get something through special care. To get something, but it's not easy to get. Procure. Procure. for example, masks these days are becoming a little difficult to procure. I was born in 1978, so that means on Wednesdays I can go to the pharmacy and procure or get a couple of masks. Alright students, I don't want to make this video too long. Students, I implore you, please keep these words fresh in your mind. We're building every week, and there's more and more words, and I don't want you to wait until the very last minute to start cramming. Okay? Students, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.